you've ever needed to hide laundry room clutter, I have a really creative solution for you. I've done variations of this in the past. This one's even easier. Pick up their IKEA 365 plus bamboo lid in the kitchen section and then take that over to the garden section and match it up with a pot. So my tip is to take the actual lid and fit it in the pots, because all of their pots, even if they have similar diameters, are slightly different sizes on the top. Then you can use this flower pot and lid combo to store things in your laundry room, like laundry pods. In this case, I'm storing some dryer balls and it looks so chic. Match the pot to your decor. But remember, I did a tissue holder hack where I just simply drilled out a hole in the top of one of these with a hole saw, and you could use this specific combination for that DIY as well. We often forget that the insides and backs of doors are a great place to add some extra storage. This organizer is from Amazon. I will link it down in that description box below, as well as everything I'm mentioning in today's video. I can add all of my canned goods here or other snacks. Just make sure if you're adding storage to the back of your door like this, that your door is strong enough to hold whatever you're storing on the door, and also that you have enough clearance when you close the door so that these shelves can sit nicely. This solution maximizes vertical space, which I always encourage doing, especially if you have a smaller home. Think of how you can get things up and off surfaces onto walls and doors. I like to label my containers. I know they're clear, I know you can see what's in them, but here's the reason. I would really like for my family to also put everything back in its spot, and if I have a very clear label on all the bins to show where things go, then the hope is that my husband and my girls will put everything back in the same spot. I'm gonna use my Cricut Joy to make these. You do not need a Cricut to label your containers. You can use painter's tape and a Sharpie. You can use whatever label maker you want, doesn't matter. I love my Cricut, I'm gonna use that. If you want a detailed tutorial on how I make my labels with a Cricut, I have a full video on that, so I will link to that down in the description box below. I'm always a huge fan of anything you can get up and off your countertops and onto your wall in small spaces. One of my favorite wall storage pieces is the Maslanda picture ledge. Not only can you use this to store artwork, but you can also do things like attach hooks on the bottom, put this by your entry, store some pet leashes, maybe hang some bags. You could put art and practical items on top. You can also do things like cover a thermostat with art with this on your wall. I love that the profile is really narrow, so it's great for tiny spaces. It comes in so many different colors. My personal favorite is the simple white color. Then it can blend into your walls if you have lighter walls. It just looks chic and understated. These slim velvet hangers are an absolute game changer for closet organization. I love this rose gold variety with a nice creamy white color. They look so cute in our little cabin, and look at how little space they take up on this rod. This is a great idea if you have limited closet space or hanging space. And I also love how the velvet has texture, so it grips onto clothes so they don't fall off your hanger. The Verriera pot lid organizer. You're gonna find this in the IKEA kitchen accessories section in the store. Comes in a tiny little package and it's only $12.99 Canadian. What I love about this pick is that you can expand this and contract this to fit virtually any size of drawer in your kitchen or cabinet in your kitchen. So what I did with ours was I expanded it to fit this right side of our drawer. So I have it vertically deep into the drawer, and then I put all of our pot lids up vertically like this. So this offers a lot more storage in this drawer, and then it also makes these lids really easy to find. And then the rest of the pots and pans in here, I just stacked them up like this, so everything's really easy to grab for everybody in our family. Like all IKEA products, this one's gonna come with a little bit of assembly, but all you have to do is screw the little pegs into the base of the organizer. Another thing that I love about this product is it feels really sturdy, so I feel like we're gonna be able to have this in our kitchen for years and years to come. I love how our drawer looks now with this pot lid organizer in it, and I think you could use a few of these in a drawer to even add more organization. I also use these little cable clips on the side of both of our nightstands so that we can clip our phone charging cords to them, so everything is nice and neat and tidy. I'll also link these in that description box below. They're so handy and affordable. No more having to search for your phone charging cord. You might know that I'm a huge fan of finding spoon racks at the thrift store. I often find a lot of spoon racks and they're so fun to flip and use for different things. I've done a couple of spoon racks and flipped them into jewelry holders. So I wanted to try something a little bit different with this one that I found for $10. I want to try to make an entryway organizer. Here's some inspiration, and this one is $50. So I think I could make something for cheaper with this thrift store spoon rack. I'm going to spray paint this too because I want to make all of these thrift flips so easy, and spray paint is so quick and so easy. I'm spraying it with this dusty rose color, but I don't like how it's making these cracks look really obvious in the wood. So I had an idea to take some leftover fabric that I had on hand. I really like this floral fabric with the rose, the green, the blue, and I'm cutting it to size to fit in those spaces in my spoon rack. Then I'm taking some Mod Podge and I'm applying it in those little spaces, pressing the fabric down, and then applying more Mod Podge on top to seal everything up. I'm using a nice matte Mod Podge because that's the finish that I want. I'm loving how this is turning out and how it's just nice and colorful and fun, and it's gonna add a lot of pattern into my entryway. Now I'm taking some little cup hooks. You can find these on Amazon or just at your local hardware store, drilling some pilot holes in the bottom of the spoon rack with a drill, and then I'm twisting those cup holes in. Then I'm taking this gold handle. This is just a cabinet handle from Home Depot, and using a little bit of cardboard and this E6000 adhesive and applying that on this part of the spoon rack. I'm gonna use this to hold mail. Once everything is dry and ready, I'm gonna hang this up here in my entryway. You can use command picture strips for this to make it nice and easy. And I love how this organizer turned out and how useful it is. You can place glasses and sunglasses in the hooks or on the cup holes. You can place mail right behind that cabinet pull. You can hang some keys off those cup pulls, and you can even hang jewelry like I've done with my other spoon racks in the extra spaces. This is so fun and so colorful, and I'm really happy I tried a different color and pattern for this spoon rack flip. And this DIY cost me only $20 because I had a lot of the supplies on hand already. My storage container drawer gets disorganized so fast, so I'm purging what we're not using, and I love using these bins to store lids separately. You know I love to use a turntable in my fridge. I've used ones from Dollarama before. However, I recently found a new product, and this one is from IKEA. It's a turntable. You can place it in your fridge. However, it's rectangular in shape, so it doesn't waste as much space as the round turntable does. It's quite easy to put together. It has a base, it has suction cups that suction right to the fridge, which is super handy, and then it has that top that spins around. So it basically comes out and then spins and goes back in. Shape is so good for the top of my fridge, so it's a good spot for the upper left of my fridge. I can place my jam jars, my leftovers, whatever I want here. Makes everything so much more easy to access, and it fits perfectly in a fridge. I used to fold all my tea towels, and then there's only so many that I can fit in these small little 15-inch deep drawers. Now I fold my tea towels into third and roll them up so that they fit inside my drawers just like this. This way I can fit so many more towels in my drawer. I can see them all at once, so I can take the one that I have in mind easily. And they also look so much neater when I open up my kitchen drawer. The IKEA Becktham spice racks are so affordable and you can use them for so many different things. They're not just for holding spices. I'm picking up one of these and I'm going to paint it after I assemble it. They're very easy to assemble and come with all of the parts you need. I'm gonna paint it a really soft pink color. Now my youngest daughter has a bunk bed and obviously there's no sort of nightstand situation you can have on the top bunk. So I wanted to create a spot where she could put her books, a light, and her little stuffed animal. After the spice rack is all painted and it's dry, I'm just placing some screws in the correct spot on the head of her top bunk bed, making sure to anchor those with some drywall anchors, and installing the spice rack. Now I can add all of her favorite books, some toys, even this clip-on light from Amazon that's battery operated, and she has a spot for all of her special things. I love how this turned out. You could even use 2 or 3 of these in a row. Would be great for a kid's room, a playroom, a basement, and it doesn't take up that much space. These magnetic spice shelves are both really cute and practical. I love how they add some more storage on the side of our little fridge in our tiny cabin. There's not much space here, so this is a great solution to add some more storage. I use them to hold spices and utensils, and over a year later, they're still nice and strong. The magnet attaches just great, and our guests love them. When you are cleaning out your cutlery drawer this year, rather than putting all your cutlery back flat and horizontally, consider putting it back vertically, kind of nesting each piece inside the previous one. I learned this hack from one of my vacation rental guests. They put all of the cutlery back this way, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is such a great idea. I can access all the pieces so much easier. It looks cleaner and neater. So the only problem you might have with this is just getting your family on board. Make sure everybody starts learning how to put the cutlery back this way, and you're going to be able to fit so much more, and it looks amazing. Here's how to fold a fitted sheet. So start by standing. You're gonna face the sheet right side towards yourself. And then you're gonna put one hand in each of the corners of the fitted sheet. So 2 of those corners. I find it doesn't really matter if you're putting it in the short side of the sheet or the long side of the sheet. Now you're going to take your left hand and you're going to take the corner on that left hand and fold it over the corner of the sheet on your right hand. You're going to wanna make sure that the wrong sides of the corners are together. This is a really important part that makes it work in the end. Next, you're gonna run your left hand down the edge of the sheet, grab the next corner, place your hand right into that corner, and fold it over the corners you already have on your right hand. For this part, you're gonna have the right sides of the corners facing each other. Finally, take your left hand, slide it down the sheet one more time, put your hand in that last corner, and place it over all of the other corners of your sheet in your right hand. For this final step, you're going to have the wrong sides of the corners facing each other. Now you're gonna slide your left hand down the sheet. You're gonna find sort of a corner that's being created now, a folded corner. Kind of fluff that out, make sure that that looks like a corner, and then you're going to carefully place your sheet on your bed or your flat table surface. Now you're going to create a rectangular shape by folding in those elasticized edges of the sheet, just like I'm doing here, and making sure that that corner that you created is nice and smooth. Once you've created this nice rectangular shape, you can either fold your sheet into thirds and then thirds again, or into quarters and then quarters again. I find the quarters works well with if you have a king size sheet, and the thirds works well for all of the other sizes. Now you have the perfect little parcel of sheet that's easy to store and keeps your sheet less wrinkly. I found these water bottle organizers from Amazon, and let me tell you, they have changed my life, not to be dramatic. They're really easy to set up. You can get them in a 2-tier version or a 4-tier version. I bought the 4-tier version and I'm splitting it into 2 pieces. Just make sure to measure the inside of your cabinet that you want this to go in to make sure it maximizes the space perfectly. Now I'm taking all of my water bottle mess out of my cupboard, placing these Amazon organizers inside, and they're really easy to see and access. Then I can place some of the extra thermoses and other cups beside these, and it maximizes this cabinet perfectly. My girls and I love how this looks, how easy it is to access the water bottles, and this is one of my favorite finds for this season. I found this picture ledge. I use them a lot. $10 from IKEA, you can't go wrong. And then I added this rotating hook system from Amazon. I will link it in the description box below. Seriously, so easy to install. You simply remove the adhesive backing and pop it on. Just hold it on a little bit there so that it's nice and solid. I placed mine on the bottom right of my picture ledge, and then I mounted my picture ledge in my hallway. There's a perfect spot right here. And the best part about this is it only sticks less than 5 inches out from the wall, so it's great for narrow hallway situations like this one. On top, I'm placing a faux plant, some pretty artwork to match my aesthetic. And then you can place things on top of here like lip gloss, sunglasses, you name it. Then on that bottom rotating hook, you can have your car keys, your mail keys, really easy to access them all. And you can even add a command hook on the bottom for your bag or your purse. I love how this simple storage hack turned out. And this is definitely one I would recommend you try this year. If you want to know the easiest way to create a custom window seat for your home with so much storage, it is the IKEA Collapsed system. These are so awesome for so many things, but I especially love them for a DIY window seat. I put 2 of the square shelves on either side of my daughter's window in her bedroom and one of the long, narrow ones underneath the window. It was perfect for this 10-foot wide space. If your space is a slightly different measurement, you could add some trim to make these look built in. I added some simple cushions on top of that narrow one in the middle, and now we have this beautiful and simple reading nook with so much storage in my daughter's bedroom. You can add IKEA's baskets, and you can place clothing in here, toys, crafts, really whatever your child needs for their space. This is also a great spot to add IKEA picture ledges to. I added them on either side of the window for art and even more storage. IKEA has these amazing rattan baskets that I love. They add texture to a space, they add style. I was able to pick up and assemble 3 of these and fit them under our bed in this bedroom. These were so easy to assemble. They look great in any room and match almost any aesthetic. And in mine, I'm using it to store linens and extra towels. I love having matches nearby my candles, but I don't love how the typical matchboxes look. I found these matches at Dollarama, and then I found this jar in the kitchenware section with a bamboo lid, and I thought I could make a beautiful boutique style match jar. I'm removing the labels from the jar and then taking all of the matches out of the box and placing them in the jar. I have to do this horizontally so that the matches nicely in the jar, and it was actually pretty amazing. Almost the entire box of matches fit in this jar perfectly. Now I want to add some striking material onto the bottom of the jar so I can strike the matches on the bottom of the jar and use them. So I'm simply cutting out that little striking patch off of the original box, cutting it in half, and using some glue gun glue to attach that to the bottom of the jar. Now I have this really cute little jar that I can display beside my candles. It's really simple for me to take a match out of the jar, strike it on the bottom, and light my candle. I think this turned out super cute, and it could also be a great gift to pair with your favorite candle. This next IKEA hack totally saved my sanity in this narrow entry. I was wondering what to do with this wall in our little lake house entry. We already have this beautiful IKEA hack storage bench, but I wanted some more storage here. Our guests bring pets, and I wanted a place where we could have little doggy bags, maybe a place to hang leashes, dog toys, etc. So what I did was grabbed 2 Beckfam spice racks, and these are great for all sorts of storage in your home, and they're so budget friendly. Assembled those and screwed them together. And then Then this gold whole tarp rail, which I also love, one of my IKEA favorites, fits perfectly underneath, and I was able to mount the whole thing to the wall. Just make sure to use drywall anchors if you need them and a level to make sure everything is straight. This creates such a great drop zone for an entry. You can place things in the spice racks on top, like pet essentials. You can add some of the gold whole tarp hooks to the rail, and you can even hang coats and bags. I thought this little test tube stand from Dollarama was super cute. I think I want to do multiple things with this. So I'm going to start thinking about what I could do with this, and I'll share any ideas later on this season. What I want to do is I want to organize my makeup brushes with this. So to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm creating my own just like simple acrylic stain by taking some Dollar Store paint, mixing it with some water, and then applying that with a brush all over the wooden part of this piece. Once that's dry, I'm putting the test tube pieces back in, and then I'm placing this on my bathroom counter and adding my makeup brushes. This is such a cute way to display makeup brushes, but you could use it for so many other things as well. Let me know in the comments below what you would use this for. We're going to use these adorable wicker baskets. They're in the floral section at Dollar Tree. Don't sleep on this section. You can find a lot of cute things here for DIYs. When I found these, I knew they would be perfect for this metal hanging rod I installed on the side of my island. This is the hull tarp rail from IKEA. Now, to make these look higher end, I again took out my special walnut colored stain and I tried staining these. I wanted to see what happened, and lo and behold, they actually turned out. The stain actually sticks to these. I wiped them off really well. Took a little while. You kind of have to dab at them with a foam brush, but I think they look so much chicer with this stain, sort of that French cottage look. The thing with stain though is you have to wait for it to completely dry before you use these in your house. Otherwise you're gonna have that off-gassing. So I find leaving at least a week is perfect. I used Simple S hooks also from IKEA and attached these to this rail beside my island. And now I have a spot for all of those things that collect on my island, like dish towels, mail, and even some cat treats for my cat Lola. And then at the end of the day, I can simply empty these out if there's anything that needs to go to other homes, and it keeps my countertop nice and clean. I'm always a fan of vertical space. I love using it all the time, especially in small homes. It's a great way to keep things off of surfaces. If you're like my family and you love to use cups with bamboo lids and straws, there can be a problem where these bamboo lids clutter up your cabinet. That's the problem that we had, but I found a solution, and it's this viral under the fridge shelf organizer. People use these in their fridge to store things. It hangs from the bottom of the fridge, but I'm gonna use it to store my bamboo lids. It fits perfectly on this thinner shelf in my upper cabinet, and then I'm able to take all the lids, pop them in, and it slides in and out whenever we wanna grab one of these. The key for this is to make sure you organize more of the heavy things in the back of this organizer to make sure it's nice and balanced. This boutique-worthy earring storage hack is only $5.25 to make, and I love how this one turned out, and I hope you try it too. Pick up a gold frame from Dollar Tree, pick up this craft plastic grid sheet, and then also pick up this display easel. Move the backing and the glass from the frame, and then use that little insert that comes inside the frame to cut out a piece of that plastic grid sheet. You're gonna use some hot glue, apply that around the inside of the frame on the back, and add the plastic grid. And then you can place that easel on your nightstand, your side table, wherever in your bedroom or bathroom. Pop the frame with the grid inside, and then you can use this to store your earrings. I love how glamorous this looks, and it only cost me around $5 to make. I wanted to get rid of this filing cabinet, so we're donating that so that we can fit a nice reading nook in here. Since I already have this IKEA Kallax shelf, I came up with this hack. I'm so happy that I figured this out. It's very useful. You can take the IKEA Drona boxes, they're $6 each here in Canada, and then purchase these $20 Amazon file frames. And the frames, if you snap off that metal portion, they fit perfectly inside the IKEA boxes, which fit in your Kallax shelf. So this is a really easy, simple way to store files and store paperwork if you already have one of these square shelves. I recently gave my 3 teenage daughters a bathroom makeover. I love how it turned out and it's been working really well for them, except for the under cabinet storage for their hair tools. They seem to all pile up in here, so I wanted a nice budget-friendly solution. I found this behind the door hook system from Dollar Tree, again, only $1.75, and I'm hanging this on the back of their bathroom door. Then any tools that have a built-in hook to them, I can just simply hook on this system. If you have tools that don't, like the straightener, you can pick up these removable hooks from Dollar Tree and just apply it somewhere on the handle, away from where you would hold the tool, and then you can hook it onto the over the door hook. Just make sure to apply the hook upside down. We often don't think about using the backs of doors for storage, but it is real estate that is so valuable in your home if you want to get things up and off countertops and out of cabinets that you might want to use for something else. The next one that I'm loving is the watch me butcher these names, Spice Rack at only $3.99 Canadian. This one is a really, really good deal. And I love this because you can organize all of your spice jars perfectly in your drawer. It comes in 6-inch wide pieces. So I chose 3 of these for our 18-inch wide drawers. Now you can put them inside of IKEA's bamboo cutlery organizers or place them directly in the drawer like I did here. There's a little tray in the back that you basically just lay the little organizer on top of, so it makes it sit at an angle and helps make your spice jars look fantastic. Honestly, this was my favorite organization project so far this year because this was so satisfying to get these spice jars looking fantastic. I just smile every time I open up this drawer. You can find the Osbit plate holder in IKEA's kitchen section, and it's not just for storing plates, even though that's a great use for it. It's great to store anything vertically. Again, this is such a great use of space. It's only $4.99. That is such a good price. You can use it to store your cutting boards vertically, baking sheets, pot lids. I've even seen people take these and use them in their clothing drawers. So to store folded t-shirts, socks, underwear. So I would recommend grabbing 2 or 4 or 6 of these and using them in a drawer. Pretty much almost any item that you want to store upright. This can also work really well to organize your books on a bookshelf or a bar cart like I have here. Now this one might be my favorite makeover of the bunch. I simply picked up 4 of these square jars from the glassware section at Dollar Tree. I like these particular ones because they're square, so I feel like they use space the best. Then I took the lids off, and I also took those stickers off at the bottom. Don't forget this step to make these look higher end. A little tip here, use a blow dryer to warm up that adhesive in the sticker, and these should come right off. Then I took some gold spray paint I had on hand and sprayed those lids. I also had these gold knobs from a different project, but you could also use wooden knobs or any other color and spray paint those as well, and applied them to the center or top of each of the lids with some hot glue. Adding the knobs and the gold color is a small thing, but I feel like it makes these look so much more luxe. I'm using these for coffee pods in my coffee station area, but you could use them for all sorts of things on your kitchen counters or in your cupboards, like tea bags, protein powder, granola, flour, sugar, and they turned out so cute. And I want to hear in the comments below, are you team gold or are you team silver? Would you have kept the silver color or do you like this gold upgrade?